This is Boxing Tickets NI, and we're joined with Dominic Donegan. How are you, Dominic?
Yeah, Dominic Donegan is right. I'm keeping good. Yourself, Stephen?
Flat to the mat as usual. Obviously, getting used to. I think this is interview 5 of the week, and actually 6. I think in the last week. Obviously, last Saturday at an hour-long session with Vladimir Beluska. So I'm sure, obviously, you're hoping I'm not going to have you sitting about for an hour on a Saturday, but sure, we'll see how it goes.
Oh no, definitely, and I'm enjoying the interviews as well now. In fairness, watching them, they're good. They're very good now.
Thanks very much for that. So obviously, I want to first start off with you're from Cavan yourself, aren't you?
From Cavan, yes.
You didn't see Kevin Cronin's comment last night. He was saying that a man from Cavan does nothing for nothing.
Oh, I know. I was saying it. All these Cavan jokes. I wouldn't mind. We don't mind spending money, but Kevin's a witty one now. So he is.
He was obviously saying last night, how much am I paying Dominic? Because a man from Cavan doesn't do anything for nothing, So I wanted to get that sorted out at the start.
Yeah, he loves a wee dig, so he does. Kevin's a good lad.
I think he put up the fireman symbol last night, and started saying, "Well, Kevin, you're a fireman, so you can put out your own fire." So I don't know how he was going to respond to that.
Yeah.
So Dominic, how's things with you? Keeping well. Obviously, you're a year out of the ring now as well, so probably trying to keep yourself relevant, and obviously probably trying to enjoy some boxing as well.
Nah, a year out of the ring is right, but trying to use the time wisely, trying to learn new things, taking new things into my game. Just still lucky I'm still fit to train with my coach and that, and then he does even send me on wee training plans and running as well, flat out. So keeping fit and keeping as active as I can. It mightn't be sparring as much as I'd like to be, but getting in as much as I can. It's hard for everyone, so it is, Stephen.
It is. So sort of cutting back to sort of the very start for you. So what got you into boxing?
From amateur, like what got me in from the amateurs?
Just sort of got you started. Sometimes like some boxers I've spoke to would say the bigger brothers were into the sport, or what was it that got you into boxing? Was it just something that you liked to watch, or thought you'd give it a crack? Or?
To be honest, I was at school, and a few of the lads that hang around with a new boxing club came to Cootehill, and a few of them joined. And I wanted to join because I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be like my friends. Now I went home to Mum, and I said, "Mum, I want to go boxing tonight." And she was like, "No, you're not going." And I was like, "But like my friends are going," and she was like, "No, you're not going. I don't want you doing that. Play football." And so that went on here, and I kept an eye on her every evening it was on, and she wouldn't cave in. And then sure, I had a cousin from Kerry coming up, and Mum went to me, "Dominic, we're going to give your bed to our cousins from Kerry coming up." And I was like, "No." I said, "Unless you let me start boxing, I'll give my bed." And she was like, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm not giving my bed." And then the day she was coming up, and there was boxing training this night, and Mum was like, "Look, you're going to have to give your bed." And I said, "Until I start boxing, I'm not giving my bed." And then she was getting closer and closer to home, and Mum was like, right, go boxing. And then I got into boxing. Then I was about 15, so I got into boxing because I had to give my bed, and that's how Mum caved in. So she did.
So if it wasn't for somebody coming up to visit from Kerry, you'd probably never be boxing.
Yeah. Well, eventually she would have had to cave in, but that was the main thing to get me over the line, to get me in first of all. Anyway, so it was, and I was a chubby wee lad as well, so it done me the world of good.
Used it as a sort of fitness tool at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're obviously, from a lot of people we speak to, you were probably later in starting boxing, at 15, probably obviously some of them, have been starting from the age of 8 and stuff like that. So you're 26 now, so you're boxing 11 years. Would that be
yeah.
correct? Yeah. So did you have any obviously getting into, were you into boxing beforehand? Was it just friends? And, you know, did you then use turning the boxing, obviously it give you more of an outlook in the sport? And did you have any idols sort of coming up from the age of 15, and obviously who you loved watching in the sport?
Yeah, well, I did. I always liked fighting. I mightn't have been in the ring, but I used to love at school, like fighting and that. I would have been a bit of a pup, but then if you went to parties, birthday parties and that, there'd always be a pair of gloves and all your friends would throw it on, and I used to love it, like. And then once I started boxing, then it was just I liked it, and I was handy enough at it as well. But then once I started, I used to watch videos of Roy Jones Jr. I just love his style, the way he used to fight, and that I watched videos of him. I love the hands down. I love the way he throws a thump from anywhere, and I just kind of got hooked on watching videos from him, and I had to try a few things from him as well. I still do try a few of his shots, but yeah, Roy Jones I would have been watching now when I got into boxing, so I would have.
And did you watch the Roy Jones and Mike Tyson exhibition not so long ago?
Yeah, no, I didn't. In fairness, Tyson impressed me even more than Roy Jones. Tyson fought better than he did against Kevin McBride that time. In fairness, I thought, you know, it was good. It was good to see the two of them in the ring. So it was, and a bit of respect after it as well was nice, and it was good outfight. I
guess obviously sometimes, you know, with the whole YouTube thing and stuff like that kicking in, sometimes it's good to see obviously legends of sport and Mike and Roy Jones making a few pound out of the sport, because, you know, they're a long time sort of retired, and money doesn't come as easy as it does, you know, it did in the past. So hoping obviously with them sort of coming back once they don't get the bug from obviously starting out from originally boxing, that they want to keep going in the sport.
Yeah, no, it was good to see them getting something out of it, and look, will it happen again? Probably not, but it was good. It's done now. It's the same way as what I thought was Mayweather and McGregor. Like, no one ever thought that was ever going to happen, but things does happen unexpectedly. Like, so anything can happen.
Definitely do. So tell us obviously more about your amateur career. So what, from about 2010 onwards, obviously, and you've been boxing. So what sort of amateur career did you have? Obviously, we know you've obviously boxed. You beat Owen O'Neill in the 2017 Ulster final, and you boxed obviously another new pro, soon to make his debut, in Paul Ryan. So I know obviously he beat you in the Celtic Box Cup final in 2018. So what sort of amateur career did you have? Or obviously being a late bloomer to the sport, I'm guessing obviously it was a lot tougher to find fights.
See, I actually fight the same way now than I did fight years ago. Like, see, when I started boxing, I'm the same way now than I was when I started. So my weight never changed, but I might have got taller. Mm-hmm. That would have been it. I would have been a small, tubby wee lad fighting. I would have won. I won a few novice titles, Ulster novices, Irish novices, and then I won the Ulster seniors. Then I joined the army. I won 3 Irish army titles 3 years in a row, and went to America, fought in the Kansas World Championships. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not the proper World Championships, but it's kind of
the canvas equivalent.
Yeah. And fought a few times on the Cavan and Monaghan select team with the likes of the McKenna's, the 2 McKenna lads that on teams with them. We went to Manchester. We went all over with them. So we did. So I had a good few fights now and good success, good wins. I have more wins now than losses, so which was good. So it is, but no big elite senior Irish titles or that, but mm-hmm. the Ulster senior now was a nice one to win.
Definitely was. So sort of, particularly then later in this sport, I guess it's good to hear that obviously, you've been about obviously places and things like that as well, because, with the whole pandemic and stuff going on at the moment, there's not too many fights in Ireland, or obviously even within the UK and as such as well. So it's sort of giving you an experience of fighting in another country and probably fighting against, where you obviously would have fought journeymen sometimes so far, they probably may have fought more in the UK in their own countries. So with the whole pandemic and maybe having to go to other countries, it's helped in a way for obviously what we're going through at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's good to it's good to be fighting the likes of them as well. Like, they have so much experience, and some of them does take it around, some of them takes the easy payday, but we need them as well. Like, they learn your ring craft. So
let me see. So you made your debut May 2019 on the Celtic on Celtic Clash 8, the Boxing Ireland promotion show in the Devonish in Belfast. Were you thinking about going pro for a while? Or obviously, how did it come about that you signed professional?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it because I've always been told my style suited it. I know a lot of people has used that, my style suits this game better because maybe they didn't have that good of an amateur career, but my amateur career was only getting good at this time when I did turn over, and it just came. See, I got a concussion in an army fight, and it was after the fight. I won the fight. I went home and got bad concussion. I was out for about 2 months. I was meant to go to CISM, the World Championships for the army. So it was, and I was out with concussion, and I kind of couldn't really get going to that because I would have missed camps and that, and I would have been a dead cert to be going over. And then I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to wait around. I've seen a few lads that I know that went pro, and I'd be, so why wait around? Like, so I ended up just turning over, and I don't regret it. I'm enjoying it now, and best decision I made, and it does suit me. It's a lot slower pace. You're picking more shots. You have more time in there. Like the amateurs, you only have 3 rounds. In the pro, you start off with 4, then 6, then 8, then 10. You have more time to do a plan and come up with wee tactics in the rings. And I like it. I think it was a good move.
Good move. And obviously you're training under Jonathan Lewins. Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't want to say it wrong. And I'm sending him a mail going, you told my name wrong. So how's it been? Obviously, were you with Jonathan as an amateur, or is it just whenever you linked up pro that you linked up with him?
Nah, I was up sparring the likes of Stephen McAfee when I was amateur, and we'd go up to Mark Buckley's club. I was sparring Eddie and James Cahill and them, and while I was amateur, and I think Eddie, James and Stephen was pro when I was actually sparring them. And then sure, Johnny would have seen me a few times sparring them, and he took me on, no hassle at all then, because he knew what I was like, and he could see potential in me as well. So, and he's a very good lad to work with. He's a lot of knowledge as well, so he kind of boxed years ago the way I boxed. So he knows where I'm coming from with my style and that as well. So it's good we link up there with Jono. So
and do you remember much about your debut in the Devonish?
Yeah, you'll never forget. You can never forget your debut. Now it was, to tell you the truth, now I was nervous. I was coming out in the amateurs. It might only be a few. Like, in fairness, there would be a right few coming out like in home tournaments and that, but it's completely different. There might only be a car full there supporting you, especially if it wasn't your home show that you were fighting in. And when you come out, and I had a big bus load from Cavan up, I had a lot of friends there and family and that. So walking out was just, I never got to feel in my life. Was in the ring, and I couldn't feel my body when I was touching gloves. I was just like, this is crazy. And once the bell went, I didn't hear anyone outside it or or anything. It was just switched on, and I enjoyed it. And even the pace, it was nice. It was very enjoyable on it. Yeah.
And my geography's not great, but how far would Cavan be away from Belfast?
It's about an hour and 40, so it is. Be an hour and 40 from Belfast. Like, it's nearly the same distance from Dublin for me. So if there was a fight in Dublin, it'd be great to get the Cavan crowd up to Dublin, but there's not much different from Dublin and Belfast if the people from Cavan's going to travel to my fights. Like, so obviously to bring a busload up for your debut obviously shows the sort of pedigree you have and the support you have. Obviously when you do fight and shows and stuff in the South, and obviously I know you fought in Cork a couple of months later, and obviously Martin Hogan's show. So obviously, the outset straight away was pretty much get yourself out and regular fighting. Yeah, no, I said from day one, especially with my managers, Stephen, I said to Stephen, I want to be as active as I can. I want to get as much experience as I want. I don't want journeymen that'll just take a payday, that'll you go in and knock them out in the first round. I didn't want that. I said I want durable journeymen if I'm fighting them, and because I'm learning. You're learning all the time in that ring, even if because I remember I went actually down to Cork, and a good busload went down to Cork that time as well to support me, and my fight lasted a minute, and I think I stopped my man with a jab, and in fairness, it was great to get the win, but I was a bit disappointed the fight didn't go a wee bit longer, because at the minute I want to learn my ring craft. I want to do the rounds to get the experience, because you're not really getting experience in the ring just doing a minute in the round when it's meant to go 4 rounds. Like, it's all great maybe knocking someone out, but then you're thrown into a 50-50 fight, and then that person doesn't get knocked down the way you're knocking down the journeyman. Is giving yourself kind of false hope and being like, am I better than I'm meant to be, or that. Like, I don't really agree with getting journeyman in that's gonna go down with a jab or that. So that's why, especially with my debut, Liam Griffith, he was a very durable person who's never put down the canvas, and I think from my debut I showed I had power, and I put him down. I the only person to put him down on the canvas, and he did get back up. We done the 4 rounds, but I showed there that I had power, and my coach went to me, he was just like, right, calm down, because once you get a feel of someone falling, you want to go again. But I calmed down. I had done my 4 rounds with him, and I was happy I got my 4 rounds, because it would have been the first time ever I done 4 rounds, especially in a fight. So I was like, I done that. That was grand. And just when I went to Cork, I was a bit kind of disappointed that I didn't get the experience that I did in Belfast for my debut. Like, so it's all about getting the experience, and there you're learning. You're not going to stop learning, and it takes you on so much. In when you do get into these 50-50 domestic fights, that you can do the rounds and that, and like I just like a good tough test as well. Like,
yeah, definitely. And obviously then, you fought 3 times in the Devonish so far in Belfast, but also in December 2019 you actually fought in Spain and on a Sergio Martinez show. So how did that come about?
It came about with Leonard contacts over there with Ricky Pow. Ricky Pow was kind of over there, and I don't know the name of the other promoter that Leonard knows, and he offered us a fight over there, and went over. I was in the home corner, and done my first 6 rounder over there, and it was just the atmosphere. Kiko Martinez was on the card as well, and Sergio Garcia was on the card, European champion actually at my weight, was on the card as well, and just a different kind of atmosphere, and that it was great, and I got good compliments from Sergio Martinez after it. He pulled me aside, and he said he was very impressed with me, that my jab and my control in the ring he was very impressed with, and he said hopefully he'll see me again. And then I got offered to go over then again. Last year, and because of the COVID, it stopped. But I definitely do intend to go back out to get more fights out there, and it's good to get in with them kind of lads as well. I guess you want to get a fan base out there, and in Spain, like after the fight, before the fight I walked out and very little noise, or because no one knew. They were all Spanish, and I was the Irish boy going out, and I was actually fighting a lad from Spain over there as well. Mm-hmm. So no one kind of knew me. Then after the fight, I won it, and they all stood up and clapped their hands and give me it was incredible.
Support them nearly.
Yeah, and then after the fight, I was coming out and people coming up to me very impressed, saying, "Can't believe you only have 3-4 fights. You showed very good maturity in the ring for a young pro." So I was happy to get feedback like that, and I was happy I got 6 rounds in. So it all went very good over there. And as I said, hopefully now, once the COVID now dies down a wee bit, I'll be out there again, fingers crossed.
Definitely. So it was sort of a busy start to life as a pro. Obviously, you're actually, I think, meant to be scheduled twice in Spain since obviously that show in December 2019. So how hard has it obviously been to keep yourself motivated? Obviously, you're now just past a year out of the ring. So how tough's it been to keep yourself motivated with boxing?
It is hard, but my eyes on I want to win belts and that I want to win the Celtic title, the BUI Celtic title. I want to get a shot at the Irish title. So that's kind of my motivation. I see myself in these fights, and now Amanda with Eddie Treacy for the BUI Celtic title. So that's what's keeping me focused now, is knowing that fight, if once things kind of settle down in Ireland, that fight's there, and it'll be a hell of a fight for the two of us. And it's just, I was so lucky that I got 5 fights in less than a year. So that's kind of I'm not really far behind people. I'm only pro not even 2 years, so I'm not that far behind. 5 fights within 2 years is still very good. And now hopefully I get out now again in March, so that'll be 6 fights. So I'm still on the right track. It's just, it would have been nice now to get 1 or 2 fights last year, but unfortunately a lot of boxers were in the same boat, not getting out. So it's up to you to try and keep motivated, and just you don't want to fall back to the start again. You don't want to be going in. You have to work on the valuable time that you have.
Yeah. So it's sort of keeping a positive mindset and knowing where you've come from and sort of, where you want to be. So keeps you obviously in the right tracks through that. So you sort of mentioned obviously, you were mandated with the BUI to fight Eddie Treacy for the BUI Celtic title. I believe you've sparred with him for a couple of years and stuff like that. So what have you seen of Eddie? Obviously, I know these are two likeable guys and stuff as well. So would you and Eddie get on well?
In fairness, Eddie's a gent, so he is, and we done many's around. As I said, before I turned over pro, I was sparring Eddie when he was getting ready for his first pro fight, and we had hell of spars. Now there'll be nothing between them. Eddie sound, I get on very well with him, and at the end of the day, this is boxing, so the two of us wants the same thing. I want the BUI Celtic title, and he wants it. And as I said, Eddie is a nice guy, and what I see in the spars is going to be a very tough fight for both of us. So that's the game we're in. So whoever shows up in the night, that could be the case of it, So yeah. It'll be a good fight.
So obviously over the last year, I would probably say unfairly at times it sort of seemed as if Dominic Donegan's been the call-out guy. There's obviously been fights mentioned with Craig O'Brien, obviously the Eddie fight, and obviously Graham McCormick. What's been going on? Obviously, is it the case is it a case sometimes of you being asked your questions on future opponents, or what's been going on?
It's really being asked about, like, say, the light middleweight, loads of Irish fighters, and I said from day one, I'll fight any of the lads the light middle. Like, at the end of it, I'm sure all the lads in the light middleweight, like, I have no problem fighting him. I've no problem fighting him. I say we're all kind of in the same boat. But at one stage, I say on my Facebook, was popping off, Dom calls out Graham, Dom calls out Owen Duffy, Dom calls out. Like, I didn't personally. Fair enough. After the Celtic class, my fourth or fifth fight, I think it could have been my last fight.
Or X, as Leonard called it, X.
Yeah, I got an interview, and I was ready for my title fight, because I was like, I'm ready for it. So I kind of threw Graham McCormick's there and Owen Duffy's, because me and Owen's from the same. I said, look, why not? Because I knew the title was vacant. I was like, so why not make this happen? I said, they all want it. It wasn't the case of being kind of a dickhead, being like, look, I see myself beating these guys. I want to fight these because I can beat them. It's nothing about any of the light middleweights. I don't see me beating, like, saying that, sure, I'd beat Eddie easy, sure, I'd beat Craig easy. It's nothing about that. I want to be in these hard fights, because it's going to take the best out of me, and it's going to take the best out of them. So it is Stephen. So yeah. Probably a lot of lads thinks what's this by? He's only pro a year and he's here running his mouth. Personally, I never ran my mouth about the lads. It was more kind of, I'll fight any of the lads at my weight, and I still stand by that. I still will fight any of the lads at my weight, because I want to be in these 50-50 fights. I want to be in the hard fights to take the best out of me. Like, and I said from the day I turned over, I'm not here to protect my record. I don't want to be known as Donegan moves to 10-0 and fought another journeyman. I don't want that kind of record, so don't, Stephen. I want these hard fights, and people obviously does get annoyed when they see their names, thinking that I'm calling them out. But this is a game, like, this is all about getting out there. And some guys mightn't take the 50-50 fights, but like there, for instance, me and Eddie's mad now to fight each other, and it's not the case that we hate each other. It's because the two of us have the same vision. We want the BUI Celtic title, and we're going to fight for that. Some people mightn't want that fight because they think it might be too early, and it could be bigger things in the pipeline. But this is going to take the best out of the two of us, and the winner then might have a chance then to fight for the Irish title against Craig O'Brien, like. And another thing, I never called out Craig O'Brien either. That's the way I actually put it. I said, if the winner of mine and Eddie's fight, whether it's me, whether it's Eddie, is next in line to fight for the Irish title, because and that's massive for both of us to be next in line for an Irish title. And then when you hear the likes of a 3 Arena show and that, imagine fighting on the 3 Arena show, fighting for the Irish title. Never mind me or never mind Eddie. It could be either of us. It's in our hands. Like, it's not that I'm not here now saying, sure, I'm going to beat Eddie easy. I'm looking across and I want to fight Craig. It's the 50-50 fight, but there's a lot at stake for that fight. It puts us in line for a chance at the Irish title, which is massive for both of us. So yeah, so that's kind of the call-out game. I never actually called out anyone personally. Maybe Graham and Owen, I threw it there in the interview at the start, but I also said I'd fight any of the lads at the light middleweight, and I still stand by that. I want to fight lads at my weight, and that's why I started. That's why I went pro. So yeah, so that's really it there, Stephen, with that one.
Yeah, fantastic. So I think Cavan and Yargo sort of said this last week. I think, what was it? Closed mouths don't get fed. So if you can't open your mouth and say you want to fight, you're not going to get a fight. So we're the best word in the world. Sometimes interviews come out in certain ways with words and things like that, and it makes it look as if you're a big call-out guy. So it's just the fact that you just want to do the best you can. So Obviously, it's a couple of days now since you've announced your sixth pro fight's going to be in Luxembourg on the 20th of March. Is it starting to sink in yet that you're going to get back into the ring and put the gloves on and fight again?
I'm feeling like a boxer again. Put it out with Stephen. It feels like now I'm going out hitting the bag. Like there's me and my girlfriend. We've done a kind of a gym at her house. I have a bag up, treadmills, weights, and that. And now when I'm out there, I used to be I'd be out there just going through the motions. Now I have the vision of fighting now in Luxembourg, the 20th, and I'm doing everything for a reason, doing everything with potential now. And even now, when I go up to Johnny now, I'm more focused because I know this is coming up. I'm not just going through the motions. It is sinking in. I have a good feeling this one is going to go ahead now. So
fantastic, and obviously it's getting used to making weight and stuff again as well. It's starting to eat the chicken and rice, and the things you probably didn't have to do the last year. It's now getting back in there. You'll probably go, I've been looking forward to chicken and rice and broccoli.
Yeah, no, and it's good to get back into shape. And to tell you the truth, I'm starting this camp later than I ever was starting any other camp, which is good. Like I've been training, as I said, me and my girlfriend done a gym at her house. I've been training, making the most out of training. Look, I enjoy training, so I like it. It's to look good as well. Like you want to look, you don't want to go around with a belly and people like, oh, sure, he's a professional fighter or he's in the Irish Defence Force. I don't want to go around not looking anyway good. Like you want to keep yourself fit and looking good. Like.
Yeah, fantastic. So obviously, from doing an interview with the one O'Neill the other day, he was obviously saying about it could have been potentially fighting in January and it was getting the money and stuff saved. But the whole pandemic, obviously, lost gains in boxing. Obviously, you're having to rely on sponsors a lot more to be able to get an opportunity to fight in Luxembourg. So how important, obviously, has it been that even through a pandemic, you've still been able to keep on, obviously, the sponsors you have?
Sponsors plays a massive part in this game, so it does, especially so early on in it, and it means you don't have to jump straight into a domestic fight. Like, see some lads there maybe with 2 fights to jump straight into a domestic fight, but then they never really learned the ring craft, they never got the experience for the like stuff. For instance, I'm not saying I'm experienced, but I got 5 fights in a year, and the only reason behind that was because I had good sponsors, and they're all from Cavan and Monaghan right beside me. It's great, and it's great that they're going to keep continuing, and they want to see you doing well, and they get mentioned in my local paper here as well, which gives them kind of publicity as well. So it's great. It's great to have them. So it is.
Definitely, and I say it's always an important part of boxing, but obviously even more so with a pandemic and having to go away and fight in places like Luxembourg or Spain and things like that. They obviously are playing a vital part. I would say, Dom, obviously being sort of not being harsh, but sort of I would say probably your own worst critic sometimes, and obviously where you think your career can go. I think you'd actually messaged the other day saying obviously about you don't think you're ever going to win a world title and things like that. So is it sort of more the fact of believing obviously how far you can go in the game, or is it just a tunnel vision of thinking one fight at a time?
Well, at the start, I was asked something similar. Where do you see yourself going in this? I'm growing. That's the main thing. I'm getting better in the ring each fight. I'm turning a few heads. I'm impressing a few people. I see myself winning an Irish title, and that's my vision, to win an Irish title. And then a fight after that then is a bigger fight then. You're ranked in Europe then, so any fight then outside, you could be on a matchroom card, you could make an upset. But when it goes to world title, like they're different gravy at the minute, they're different levels, and I'm not at that level yet, and I'm not going to say now that I'm going to be world champion, because I'm not at that level. I know the level that I'm at now. You never know if I'll win the Irish title, where that'll take me. I'd like to maybe then get a shot at the European title. If I got a shot at that, and you never know, I could win that. It all depends on the experience you're getting in the ring. you never know what'll happen, but it's taking each fight as it comes, and I'm not going to stand here and be like, look, I'm going to be world champion. I'm just going to be taking my next fight as it comes. Like, the next fight is, you never know, one thump could put me down looking up at the ceiling in Luxembourg, and me after saying to you, I'm going to be world champion, I sound like some fool. No. So you take each fight as it comes. I'm confident I'll be Irish champion. I'm not saying I'll be Irish champion this year, next year, but I definitely do believe that I have the potential to be Irish champion at my weight.
Fantastic. And I just want to leave you on one final question. We know obviously quite a lot of boxers sometimes wouldn't watch much boxing, obviously, when they're not boxing themselves. Would you be a big boxing fan? Would you tune into a lot of boxing?
Tell you the truth, Stephen, I don't really, unless, for instance, there's Garcia. I was watching Garcia, Canelo. I'd watch him. I love Canelo's style. I love his power. But I wouldn't be a big fan of watching it. If it was big fights, I might sit down and watch. I know it is important. You learn new things, but I'd rather look at YouTube's like stuff. Roy Jones Jr., looking at wee things like that there. And like, I obviously do love watching boxing, but I'd rather not wait up maybe till 2 o'clock at night or 3 o'clock to wait up for a fight. I'll watch it the next day. But I'd watch bits of them. I wouldn't be one of them people that'd be like, oh, I can't do this tonight because there's a fight on or that. Like, I'll watch it if it's on, you know, or if I have time to watch it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, but I guess sometimes people look at it, you know, when you leave your job on a day-to-day basis, you don't keep watching it or thinking of it. So obviously, when you're involved in the sport, sometimes it's hard to keep yourself obviously thinking of it and watching it constantly, because you want to have your own life as well with things as well.
Oh, definitely. Like, there's so much more to life than, like, at the end of it, you never know, boxing mightn't open the doors that you want. In the end, it's kind of an investment into yourself. Even with, I'm so lucky that I didn't really have to pay money out of my own pocket yet, but I'm not saying that I will. Like, it's an investment, and I'm so lucky to have the sponsorship there. But if I didn't have the sponsorship, would I do it? It'd be very hard to do it, Stephen. So there's so much more to life, and the end of boxing is not everything. Especially for me at the minute, it's not everything. I really love it. I enjoy every minute of it. I love jumping through them ropes. I love training, but there is more to life than just focusing it around boxing, you know. And maybe sometime I might just have to focus. See, now coming up to my fights, I had to focus it around, right, I can't be eating this, I can't be going there, because I have my fight now. I'm on my training camp. Like, I don't mind when I'm on training camp focusing things around boxing, but when I'm not in a training camp, I don't have to. I don't feel the need to. I need to watch this. I need to do that. I enjoy the sport and that, so it's not a must.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've obviously got the end of the question we obviously had for you. Obviously, want to thank you for obviously taking time out of your Saturday, obviously, to speak to us. Obviously, we wish you well, obviously, for the rest of your camp, and we'll look forward to tuning in to watching your next fight on the 20th of March.
Yeah, no worries, and thank you very much, Stephen. Good job, and keep up the good work.